big chunks of the northern half of our state. Good morning, everybody. I'm Ron Hoon. This is Fox 10 Talks, and we just continue the conversation at 10 a.m. with, the stories that everybody's talking about. And this morning, you know what that means. It's all the snow. Would you look now at the live images? This is the 17. Nice to be able to say that even though the snow started coming down about 5 o'clock in the morning, this morning up there in Flagstaff, it looks like the roads are mostly clear. Now, that could change tomorrow. I mean, we're keeping an eye on what could be substantial amounts of snow on Friday. And then, of course, people are going to head up and basically get a chance to play in the snow because it's been a kind of a paltry winter. But things are changing and changing fast. And you're looking, our Brian Acosta is there with Danielle, and they are headed home now. 75 miles an hour on the I-17 south of Flagstaff. We're going to check in with them in just a minute, but did you catch Danielle's great reporting this morning as the snow was really coming down just a little earlier in Flagstaff? If you missed it, here she is.
Well, good morning from Flagstaff, Arizona, the high country here in the beautiful state of Arizona. It is a winter wonderland. People waking up to this morning. You can see the flakes are definitely flying. Starting right around 4 to 5 o'clock this morning, it was more of a grapple, more of that kind of soft hail, icy, and now it's definitely transformed into more of the fluffy, the light, the soft mixture, and it is accumulating. Earlier this morning, it was still too warm for anything to really stick on the ground, but right now about 32 degrees. It is definitely accumulating at this hour. You guys can see in the grassy areas as well as on the street areas. So things are really picking up here this morning. We've already seen a few ADOT plows plowing the roadways out here, trying to get people in and about here Flagstaff safely. We do know that the Flagstaff Unified School District has canceled classes today for all the schools because of this weather out here, just to keep those kiddos in and keep them safe. As we know, this is kind of the first round of weather that we're going to be experiencing, especially here in the high country. We're expecting another round for Friday morning as well. So something we have not seen very much this winter, unfortunately, is the snow here in the high country. It's been a very dry winter and a dry winter as well in the valley in Phoenix, Arizona. So this is something we're really excited to be waking up to today. And we're just thrilled to have moisture finally for this winter. It's about 34 degrees here, very chilly, and a beautiful snowy morning to wake up to. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, so there she is, everybody, through the miracle of videotape. But now we have her live. By the way, Syleste and Crystal are joining too. Look, this is a whole team effort today.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And so, Danielle, you guys have hit the road, but when would you say was the most intense hour or several moments when the snow was really pelting you?
I would say right around the 7 o'clock hour. So we kind of rolled into town about 6 a.m. and it was very light, coming down, not very, very heavy at all. But right around, the 6:37, we're like, oh boy, here it comes. And as I mentioned in that report just then, it was coming down more as kind of like an icy mixture. It was kind of looked like hail, like mini hail. But I believe, I'm no weather expert, I'll leave that to Crystal, but I believe that's grapple. So it was kind of like that. And then it transformed pretty quickly into more of a soft mixture of, those snowflakes, the fluffiness, all that. And that's when things really started to accumulate. But the snow in the beginning wasn't that bad. It was the wind speeds that were really just picking it up and kicking it around. And that was the most difficult part about being out there. It was about 34 degrees, ranging all the way till 32 degrees. But it wasn't that chilly, I have to say. I mean, it was cold out there, but it wasn't anything that you couldn't handle. It was that wind, that was whipping around and blowing that snow in your face. But definitely out here this morning.
Would you say, now they did announce early on that they were going to just close schools. It was going to be a snow day in Flagstaff, but your signal's coming in and out just a little bit. And by the way, I do want to make sure we give credit to Brian with that great shot, that great driving shot of the snow as you guys approach Munns Park now. But it did seem like it was kind of light. The people were staying home as a result of the snow on the streets.
Yeah, it was funny. We went into the gas station and I overheard some older gentlemen, if you will. They were talking school being closed, and they're like, "What the heck? Back in my day, it had to be." So I think they were kind of poking fun at the reason why it was closed. But yeah, you guys can see here. I think you guys are still on our live picture.
Yeah,
we have
we
a
are.
snowplow on both directions, and
Okay.
these gals with ADOT, they've been out all morning long. They have been really keeping the roadways clear. We've seen them on the I-17. We've also seen them in and around Flagstaff. We also saw, some of the independent contractors out there clearing parking lots, making sure everything was pretty cleared up. But we didn't see any kiddos out early in the morning. But it was really funny hearing those gentlemen talk about, hey, back in the day, it had to be a massive snowstorm with 6 feet of snow for us to get called out of school. So
Of course. By the way, we just went past one of those snowplows. Celeste and Crystal joined me as well. Can you guys remember any of the funny snowplow names?
Oh,
Now that we have
Snowmageddon.
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 Scoop Dog.
And there was
Scoop Dog.
Scoop Dog.
There were some
Danielle,
really
yeah.
Snowy One Kenobi, I think, was one.
Oh,
yes.
you're right. And
Good.
I think it's so funny that the older gentlemen, the more mature,
Correct.
are saying, "What a bunch of wimps."
In my day. All right, Danielle, we appreciate it so much. Crystal's going to join us now. Thanks for your great reporting up there, Danielle.
Great job.
We really do appreciate it. Crystal's going to join as well. And Crystal, you warned us a couple of days ago. It was really coming. It's going to come in 2 waves, and this is really just wave 1.
Yes, this is just wave 1. And, we've had our eye on this for a while. Back in February, we were saying, I think March might be the month we can see the pattern kind of shift. And it has absolutely done that, which is great. So we've got the first round kind of coming to an end right now. But then the second round is actually, I've been saying this is the appetizer, and then main course is tomorrow.
Right.
So we got some good stuff ahead.
So, yeah.
And when you say main course, you said early morning is when we're going to get up the brunt of the storm or expected. It will get some in the afternoon, but it should lighten up in the evening, are you thinking? Or?
Tomorrow, it's going to be pretty much throughout the day that we are looking at the storm activity. Today is the day that this afternoon, you're not even going to know we had a system pass through because of the sunshine that's coming out already.
That's the way with Arizona, right?
It truly is.
Not like Michigan.
Yeah, no, it's not. So this is the view from Flagstaff downtown where Danielle was just a bit ago. And you can already see the roads are looking wet more so than snowy, right? The snow has cleared, the plows have been out, and the temperature is going to start to climb. So I think some of the snow that's accumulated today is going to start to slowly melt today, but then we're going to add much more to it tomorrow. So let's take a look at another live camera. I've got a few different ones that I'm going to show off for you guys. This is a view actually from 180 in Columbus. So this is right outside of downtown Flag. Same thing. The roads are wet, but it's kind of messy. That slushy kind of gross snow that you end up getting when it starts to melt off. I think we're going to have some of that. And then this is the view from right here in downtown Phoenix, where, as I mentioned, it's already sunny. We had some showers this morning, and it looks gorgeous out there. Nice clear sky.
So by the time folks drive home, they're going to think, what storm?
Yeah.
Right.
And
What was all the talk?
the East Valley kind of missed out today, so they're probably like, where's our rain? But
Right.
tomorrow is the day for the East Valley, the West Valley, the whole valley, looking at rain chances. And let's talk about the gusts, because they've really started to crank up. And now that they're up, I do expect them to hang on throughout the afternoon. Gusts right now at Sky Harbor Airport at 36 miles per hour, 33 in Glendale, and nearly 30 in Chandler. So across the valley, 25 to 35 mile per hour winds should hold on late morning right through mid-afternoon, and then they'll start to taper into this evening. You can see that on our 12-hour outlook, where the winds start to drop off about 5-6 p.m., and they'll lighten up some overnight. But even tomorrow will be breezy with that second round.
36 miles an hour at the airport. That's when you appreciate a good pilot coming into the landing.
Yes, you
Right.
do.
Right.
Yes, you do.
We have Linda Monterth in the chat box. She said, "Good morning, everyone. Please send the moisture to the Safford area. Do we see anything moving through the eastern or southeastern part of the state?"
So I will say that they will get some tomorrow, it looks like, but not as good of a hit as like central and north parts of the state, unfortunately, for folks that are more in the southeastern edge.
Here's the beauty of our streaming show. We can kind of do stuff on the fly. Can you widen out your map a little bit?
Yes.
And show Linda. Linda, this is just for you, one of our most loyal.
That's right.
If you can zoom out and show east of like Globe, Miami, the White Mountains, that whole area, maybe she can
Yes.
get a look. Come on down a little
So we're
bit
taking
more.
requests in the chat box, by the way.
Correct. Yeah.
Where do you live?
Right. Okay, so there's Globe. Now, if we go slightly more to the east and slightly south down to 70,
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
yeah,
she's
we
out
can
in
do
I know where we're at.
Gila Valley area,
Yeah.
Safford and
Yes.
Thatcher.
Yeah,
Not a
so you
lot
could
yet.
see and unfortunately most of the bulk of the moisture is going to be a little bit farther to the north, especially today. Tomorrow, a little better chance for us to get in on some of the action down to Safford. But the focus today is mostly for the rest of, I'd say, late morning, early afternoon, is going to be up through Gila County and then parts of Apache and Navajo counties as this starts to move off to the east this first round.
KDJW is one of our loyal Philadelphia viewers. Do you want to zoom into Philly? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I did that for 6 years. Now it's
right?
Arizona.
I mean, we're in the desert and we love this weather because we rarely get it. But we do have people who've moved here to get away from the snow. Like Jen's Wall. She's in the chat box. She's like, I moved here to get away from the snow. What is all this?
Well, hopefully she's in the valley then, and not in the high country.
Yeah, she is in
no
the
snow in the valley.
Yeah, she said she's in Apache Junction. She said no sun there. It's gloom and doom over AJ.
You know what?
at
By
this hour.
tomorrow, though, in AJ, you might be able to look off to the Superstitions, maybe up towards the Four Peaks area, and see a little bit of snow atop those mountains.
That
guys.
I love. You
Me
mentioned Four
too.
Peaks
One of my
starting a couple of
favorite
hours
views.
ago, and
Yes.
even frosted, just touched with an inch or two of snow. It's so great. But we do, Crystal, we love one of your favorite cams
So pretty.
right up there as well. And we had seen people earlier that were going out on trails
That's bold.
from the Grand Canyon there, the Conservancy, but it looks like for the most part they're all huddled in up at the lodge now.
Yeah, we saw one guy making his way down. The
I would be
Bright Angel
nervous to do
Trail,
that
right?
with that much snow coming down. The snow has stopped up there, but they have the potential to get a good hit again tomorrow,
I bet
guys.
all the photographers are going to head up there today because this is like
Yes,
prime
so
season to get those
beautiful.
beautiful shots of the canyon with the snow kind of lingering on. Really beautiful.
Some of the best pictures.
Okay, so you did, and we only have 20 seconds left, just real quick, but I heard you mention at one point there could be parts of northern Arizona where the snow is knee deep. That is amazing.
You want to
Where would
quickly
that
take
be?
our weather graphics and we'll just
Yeah.
look at that
Yeah.
snow
You bet.
forecast map for you.
Okay.
Let me pop that up. So I think that Snowbowl, Sunrise, both 1 to 2 feet, maybe a little more by the time this thing is done. So this is through Saturday morning. 8 to 12 inches. I'm kind of going conservatives, maybe a little higher even around parts of Flagstaff. And look down in the valley, 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of rain possible, which is pretty good for us, guys.
That
so
is
not
so
bad.
great.
And great news for the higher elevations. They need the snow for the economy. That's why people head up there.
And for once, we have a mystery cam that's bright and sunny skies. Where do you guys think this is? We'll be back in 2 minutes. Crystal, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Celeste, I don't know if we've been getting very many guesses. Oh, actually, I see Louis.
Yeah, we
Louis
have some.
on with Iowa.
B. Miguel with Texas, and Jens Wall says Tejas as well.
Uh-huh.
Kim Winnett with Kansas.
Linda's out there in Arkansas with that guess. Sherry is Mississippi. All right.
Okay, let's see. And then we have Louis Gonzalez with Iowa.
Yeah. So
It
let's
does
see.
look pretty flat out there, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. It's so sunny that I'm trying to think, okay, which
I'm going
part
to go Nebraska.
are you?
I think so.
I am going to go Texas. And so on the Celeste Cam, everybody, here she comes.
Oh, Florence, South Carolina.
Oh, is that right?
Wow.
Okay, that's when you're first driving into the great state of South Carolina to
Is it-
Florence.
So Florence, is that like near the airport? Where is that?
Well, let's see. So the
When you're-
airport would be in Columbia or
Or
Charleston?
Charleston?
Oh, no, you're thinking about the airport in Charlotte, North Carolina,
Oh,
aren't you?
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's right on the border with South Carolina. But anyway, the mystery cam shows that it's a very pleasant day in the Carolinas, which is nice because
Pretty
they have
cool.
really been getting hammered. Celeste,
Yes,
we
sir.
are kind of, it's been 2 or 3 of some of the worst days that we have seen, I think, in a very long time on our valley surface streets and our freeways. Remember this
Yeah.
time yesterday morning, we were talking about what was going on the 202 out there by the Tempe Town Lake, vehicle crushed by a semi. And then this morning, we get word of a fatal crash shutting down all of the westbound lanes of the 10 out in the West Valley.
Well, and I think, and unfortunately, I think it happened earlier this week too, where we had another situation, and I think all of them included either big rigs or big trucks and smaller cars, and you just don't know what's happening on our roadways. But it seems like it's been a wild week.
Yeah, the whole week. And here, for example, Sky Fox flew overhead, and we tried to focus on a couple of things, as we always do. One is, the scene of the accident, and you can see the motorcycle there. It's not clear if the motorcycle hit that car that was right in front of it. Looks like a couple of vehicles stopped. But when there's a fatality involved, they take an awful long time to make sure all the investigative work is done properly. But the backups, and the thing is, the backups were going 3 to 4 miles in both directions because people were stopping and kind of looking, even for the eastbound traffic, for those headed from the West Valley into downtown Phoenix. Things were pretty slow as well. People then, they try to get off on surface streets. Anita was doing a great job of telling people, here are your various options. And of course, everybody's doing it. And there are plenty of good options. There's just so much traffic on the I-10.
Well, and I think the valley has just grown. We've continued to see it over the course of many years, but even since COVID, we've seen the West Valley grow exponentially. So you have so much more traffic. We're a commuter city. We're not, and we don't have like a subway or something like that kind of takes you like a big metro area does, like through, New York or something like that. And so
Right.
everybody drives to work. And you have, of course, a lot of people have moved out to the West Valley. So that I-10 into downtown Phoenix is historically has been over the last 1 or 2 decades the busiest spot in terms of traffic.
Yeah. Also busy today, the White House. We have been standing by for a reported possible executive order, but I'm seeing multiple reports, Celeste, going both ways. Maybe there will be an executive order today, maybe there won't, that would shut down the Department of Education. Some people have pointed to the Department of Education when you have a classroom and a teacher and his or her students, and then you have a vice principal and a principal overseeing it.
And you have some teachers.
And then you have the school board
Right.
overseeing that level.
Yes.
So you've got plenty of supervision, but then you've got, the voters for the school
Yes.
board. So that's kind of a level. Then you've got county.
Ron, how many
education
levels do we have
departments.
here? The bureaucracy is wild.
We have state education departments. So some people have wondered for a long time if it really needed to be like that. So here's our poll question today, and we're closing in on 300 votes. So should they just shut the whole thing down or not? 2/3 say yes. Just let the states handle it. If you start to count them up, there's so many layers of bureaucracy already. That's probably enough. But then 16% say, no, it's good to have lots of supervision at the federal, state, county, and local level. And then 19% say cuts are fine, but keep a trimmed down agency in place. We're going to get hundreds of votes on that one today.
I think so
believe
too.
so,
I
right?
think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, could be in favor of leaving it to the states. I mean, think about it. If you don't like what's happening in the education department in Arizona, maybe you move to Texas, or you say, I really like the education system in Nebraska, and you move there instead.
Yeah.
So, and if you're a teacher, it kind of opens up the door for teachers too. You think, I want to teach this way, or I want to teach that way. And then you decide what community you want to live in.
By the way, there has been one major announcement just the last hour coming out of the White House, and that is that the president has announced that he's going to exempt Mexico from tariffs on virtually all goods that would be affected by the U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. He did not do the same for Canada. Sounds like maybe Mexico's more willing to work with him than what Canada is, but he announced it on True Social right after he had a phone call with Claudia Sheinbaum of Mexico.
Yeah.
So, we're watching the market. It's down about 400 points, but, we're on an everyday basis. We keep track of what's going on in that White House.
Well, he's keeping us
don't know.
He's keeping us on our toes.
Yeah. Well, the other thing was that, the word out of the White House was that he was pretty happy with the letter that he got from Ukraine's leader, Vladimir Zelensky, and maybe things will start moving back on a fast track when it comes to some sort of a deal there. In the meantime, Celeste. So we've covered the poll question, but I have to ask you a question. When you go to the airport, how much time do you generally try to give yourself?
Oh, this is a good question.
Yeah.
I would love to get there 2 hours early, as the TSA advises.
Yes.
If you read the directions on the website.
Yeah. Now,
But
is
generally
that the TSA's advice, or is that just the lady at the airport? The people that are there to greet you.
I don't know. Every time I take a flight, they send me an email. Are you prepared for your flight?
Yes.
Please get there 2 hours ahead of time for domestic flights. Please get there 3 hours for international flights.
Okay. Oh, so it's the airlines.
Yeah.
Somebody's a nervous Nelly.
Somebody.
In this whole situation. And so there has become this movement, Celeste.
Yes.
And every time we talk about, that there's something viral going on TikTok, and then the next thing you know, people are getting ice buckets dumped on their heads or whatever. In this case, there's been this viral move. It's called, stand by, let me get it to you right here. So there's a viral trend saying show up 15 minutes before your flight.
Oh, well.
No.
You probably don't want to do it, but that is. I usually show up about 20 minutes before the flight takes.
Do you really, Celeste? Really?
Not on purpose.
Okay, it's just the way life goes.
It's just, life gets crazy and you hustle as fast as you can.
Well, I guess it's called airport theory.
Okay.
So that's what you want to.
What's the theory behind it?
The theory is that it's ridiculous to tell you to be there 2 to 3 hours ahead of time.
Well, I think about it. Like, if you want to, let's just say you're hungry. You're like, I'll grab something at the airport. It's like 3 times expensive.
Correct.
It's 3 times as pricey to buy something at the airport. I'll just make myself a sandwich and chips at home.
Yes.
And then I end up at the airport. But you do take the chance of getting stuck in traffic.
Yes.
Stuck in the TSA line.
Yeah.
So you just got to do it.
Well, now, if you pay the extra for that pre-check,
yes,
you probably can get through security pretty much guaranteed within 10 minutes.
Right.
But you never know, even at Sky Harbor, which they're fantastic with their TSA. But even then, on a busy day, you could have a half-hour wait. Well, there goes your 15 minutes, trying to make your flight.
Yeah.
Plus, have you ever been on a flight where the pilot's like, hey, let's close that boarding door and get out of here. And you look at your watch, you're like, thank you, buddy. We're leaving 10 minutes early.
Yes,
they can do that.
They can do that. And I think part of it, like, let's say everybody's on board.
Yes.
Everybody's on board. Everybody is accounted for.
Except for that one person who just saw the video on TikTok and they're like, strumming their fingers down at TSA. Well, 15 minutes is ridiculous.
That is you're cutting it pretty close.
Now, you don't probably even know this about me, but I'm not a cheapskate, but I'm more tight with the dollar.
Well,
So
you're financially frugal.
I'm going to park out in the economy lots.
Uh-huh.
And so I always try to give myself an extra 20 minutes there just to find a space.
Well, then you got to take the SkyTrain in.
Yes, right.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
I just call my Thea Mary. or my mom.
Oh,
Hey, can
yes.
you just give me a ride?
I know.
Like the old days.
Yeah, but
Remember the old days?
you live 4 miles from the airport.
I do
live
live
like
very close to the airport.
26 miles from
That's
here.
true.
Good luck for me trying to get somebody to give me a ride. Anyway, don't give yourself 15 minutes. That's the bottom line.
All right,
to that one.
may I share a few
Of
of these
course,
comments from the chat
of
box because they are
course.
firing off on all cylinders on this one.
Good.
So Leo Max says, "I'm old school. I show up 3 hours ahead of time, relax, knowing I'm all ready to go. Also, TSA pre-checked is all caps." Golden. Jen's Wall, I wouldn't risk no more than an hour. If security is backed up, you're screwed.
Yeah.
And listen, Marissa, good morning to you, Marissa. Thank you. She says, I don't watch the news. I only watch you guys.
Well, we cover just about everything.
I love this.
One of
Marissa,
my favorite-
I love you.
One of my favorite producers in the newsroom says he grabs his phone and listens to the replay later in the day as he's driving into work, because then he knows the vast majority of what he needs to know.
We give him everything he needs to know in a small amount of time.
Yeah.
And try to
It's
save
true.
you time and get you on your way.
By the way, when we give you everything, I mean, Celeste means everything, including, did you see what happened? You know, we're talking about the snow in Arizona. We're going to close with this, Celeste. Did you see, stand by. Oh, I want to go to VO3 now. Hang on, of the Snowplow Rescue.
VO3
Oh,
for
there
everyone
we
at home
go.
is
There we go.
video.
Oh, okay, it's on 4. This is the snowplow driver who thought, these poor people, I can't just plow them out of here. This is what it's like in Iowa over the last couple of days.
My goodness.
And so he's like, you know what? Look at the winds here. I'm going to go ahead and park my truck. Sure, I'll do a little bit of plowing, but there are people in those vehicles and they're stuck in a snowdrift in the middle of who knows where, Iowa. So he's working around, you know, doing what he can to kind of plow the road. And the people in that minivan and in the truck are sitting there thinking, I'm going to be out of gas in an hour, and at least I can keep my heater going for a while longer. I hope somebody knows we're out here.
What a mess this is.
Correct.
And look at the wind whipping around with that little flag on the front.
Yeah. Well, it's in contrast to now you can go to Flagstaff right now. The roads are clear the whole way. We just saw that with Brian and Danielle.
Well, that's because of ADOT.
Yes.
They did a great job.
And they're funny snowplows.
Yes,
no,
they are.
they're awesome snowplows with the funny names.
Yeah.
So, Celeste, with that, we have to say our goodbyes today, but it's been a great show.
It has been. Thank you to everyone for sharing part of your day with us and chiming in the chat box. We appreciate you. Have a good day.